Hmm. So it is the day where BCCI is having their 91st annual general meeting, and the biggest news is that Roger Binny has been officially appointed as the new president of the BCCI in place of Saurav Ganguly, who was at the helm. So what is your take on this initially, and then we'll be discussing further the women's IPL that is on its way.
So it's obviously a big change for Indian cricket, and there have been questions raised on Ganguly about the blunders he has made during his tenure, and it will be interesting to see if what changes Binny brings. He's a former World Cup winner, so he knows what it takes to build a World Cup winning team. So obviously there's going to be a lot of expectations surrounding his appointment.
Okay, yeah, obviously there will be a lot of expectations surrounding Roger Binny's appointment, because this has come not as a surprise, because we obviously knew that there will be a change, but we expected a lot to change. Jay Shah is still there. Anything on that? Like, he is still at the one of the biggest position in BCCI.
Yeah, you're right. He is going to helm the appointment. It was always known that he would retain his position and there would be changes in the presidential candidate. So it hasn't come as a big surprise to me, frankly. And we can only hope that he can work in tandem with Roger Binny and take Indian cricket forward.
Okay, so this was all that was non-cricketing for us, because obviously president and who runs the body and all this is not something that we are that interested in, but it is a big news because a 1983 World Cup winner is back. Now let's focus on the cricketing part, because the women's IPL has been given a green light. The women's IPL is here. What is your take? How will this impact us? Because we recently won the Women's Asia Cup, but we haven't done that well in the ICC tournaments. We have been there, we have been in the semi-finals, we have been in the finals at times, but we haven't gone past that hurdle. Will this IPL help us?
So over the years, we have seen that the men's IPL has helped India put together an excellent squad with immense depth and quality in all positions. So we can only hope that the women's IPL will also help unearth several talents along the year, and then we can have a better squad. So yeah, obviously I feel that it's going to help us in the long run.
And I believe that you have an idea of how this tournament will be taken through. What is the structure, how many teams will be competing, and what's the combination of overseas players? Like, do you have an idea of that?
Yeah, so the basic details that we have right now is that it will be a 22 match event with 5 teams taking part. The whole tournament will be held across 2 venues, and there'll be an 18-man squad, and there'll be a total of 6 players which will be allowed from overseas, and the remaining will be domestic ones. So these are the general overviews that we have, and BCCI are going to reveal the extended details
okay,
in due course of time.
Okay, so and is it true that there will be one associated nation player in each team, a compulsory?
Correct. There will be 4 players from the full member countries and 1 from the association ones.
Okay. So this is something big, because BCCI has brought up the most. Do you think? Let's just ask this from this perspective. Do you think the BCCI was forced to bring in the women's IPL because PCB decided to bring in Pakistan's Women Cricket League?
Well, I don't think the Pakistan Women's Cricket League had anything to do with us introducing the women's IPL. I think this was always on the agenda with women's cricket on the rise. I don't think an apex body like the BCCI would want to miss out on something like this. So it was always in the works.
You're saying that this was always on the agenda. I agree to you that this was always on the agenda. BCCI has often been talking about the women's IPL, but they never really brought it into existence. Why did not they bring it into existence when the women's BBL has been here for years? It has done well. Then why did the BCCI take so much time, and why did they announce it after the PCB announced their league? Does this not make sense that the BCCI has done it because the PCB did it? Now questions will be asked that a body that is not rich enough like you has tried to start a women's league. Why did you not start it? And even the PGL is pretty much an idea, pretty much gives you an idea that PCB is trying to develop their cricket. They are not only believing on their you can say the biggest franchise league that they already have. They're not relying on that. BCCI on the other hand is relying on the Indian Premier League itself. They were not trying to explore other ideas.
Well, frankly, I don't think that BCCI's decision or the fact that they have delayed the introduction of the Women's Indian Premier League, it has anything to do with any other nations making their decisions regarding women's cricket. I think developing the women's team has always been the agenda of BCCI, and they have taken their time, and we can only hope that they'll put together a tournament which is as successful as the men's edition. It doesn't matter if they are late to the party. What matters is if they can create something as big and as effective as the men's IPL.
Yeah, okay. We can only hope that the women's IPL will be as big as the men's IPL is, and it will certainly contribute to the growth of this nation's women's team. Apart from this, the major news is that we have a new president in BCCI who is Roger Binny. I'll ask people here because I think we have a few questions. Do we have a few questions that we need to answer? Yeah, as of now, we don't have any questions. So that is it from this live, because the two major updates are Roger Binny is the new BCCI president and women's IPL has been given a green light. Thank you for joining.